Thank you very much for joining for today's session on AI-powered grant writing. It is great to see you all, and I hope that this session is useful for you. So we'll get into it, and I just want to say thank you for bearing with us. I did send out a reminder email just before this, so I hope that you got that. So in today's topics, we're going to be talking about the landscape of AI and grant writing, why use these AI tools. We'll have a look at some grant writing software. And then I found a really good article that talked about 10 rules to leverage large language models. And we will be using those 10 rules. And then there's emerging trends in grant writing with AI integration. And that will be the content for this webinar. And then there will be a course that is coming up in a month or two. And in the course, it's going to develop some of the aspects that we've talked about in today's webinar. And we're going to go through prompts, how to improve your efficiency, how to get accuracy in data analysis, how to optimize your proposal structure. There's a section on prompt engineering. There's a section on your workflow process and how to implement it and put it into action. And then there is a bunch of references and resources that I made use of to create this webinar and the course. So we're going to get started, because there is a smarter way to fund your mission. And the key concepts that we'll be going through are identifying the core components of AI, like machine learning, neural networks, and natural language processing. We will outline the fundamental steps involved into building AI systems, from managing your data to training models to better understanding what AI can and cannot do. And we'll identify the specific advantages and disadvantages of using generative AI tools in the context of seeking grants. So there is a bunch of stuff that you need to learn and implement in order to put these AI tools to use and to incorporate them into your workflow. So this will be an overview of what you need to learn for AI for grant writing. And then it will be more hands-on, action-oriented. And in the full course, there will be a plan that you will work to design for integrating AI into your grant application overviews and workflows. We'll be going through a bunch of prompts that will help you improve your data analysis, your research, your budgets. It assesses different AI tools in the grant-seeking environment, whereas in this webinar, I'm just going to give you an overview. And it recognizes the boundaries of generative AI and pinpoints where you should focus your human skills and your human judgment, and where you can offload this to an AI tool to help you. So let's go into the landscape of AI. AI is great. It's part of what's called a large language model, and these are the foundations for chatbots that are generative AI. Some of those are the bottom logos that you can see on the screen. So we have things like ChatGPT, Jasper, Gemini, Copy, and Writer. And what happens is these chatbots are computer programs that use a simulation process to imitate and process human conversations, either spoken, written, or in conversation. And what these large language models do is they take in all of this data and they add it to their repository of words and phrases and sentences and diagrams and ideas. And then what happens is these large language models go back using statistical algorithms or predictive algorithms, and they take this database of content and they use the prompts that you give them to find the answers that you're looking for. So essentially, the text is created by predicting the next word or set of words according to the prompts. And there are some issues with that. There are issues with ethics and privacy, as well as the model's inability to ascertain what's true, what's not true, or to just create things that don't exist, which we call hallucinations. Maybe you've heard of that. Maybe you've experienced that. So there's been a large jump in LLMs over the last 5 years or so. ChatGPT was one of the big ones that came out from OpenAI a couple of years ago. And since then, the world has gone a bit crazy over artificial intelligence tools. There are Google has its own called Bard and Gemini. Microsoft's Copilot was used to be known as Bing Chat. There are many different AI tools that are coming out from Asia, for example, and China is definitely the front runner in this area. They are trained on billions and billions of documents, or like, for example, the Gemini in Google trains on everything that you put in your Google Workplace, from your emails to your documents to whatever you've used to store there. And the idea is that they are sophisticated enough to fool or imitate the human being and create work similar to what a human being will create. We'll go into a bit of an AI timeline now, just to highlight the different aspects. Why is my image not showing up? So let's move on. Why use AI tools for grant proposal writing? Well, we're going to go through 3 different sections, and they are improved efficiency, enhanced accuracy in data analysis, and optimizing the proposal structure. And we'll start off with improved efficiency. So there's a few reasons to use it. AI tools can automate your repetitive tasks like data entry, formatting, and compliance checks. This allows you to focus on the more important strategic activities that require human expertise. And by automating these mundane tasks like inputting data, adjusting formats, and verifying according to compliance, these AI tools will free up grant professionals to concentrate on high-level strategic planning that you need in order to create the strategy with human insight and with your creativity. Lots of reasons to use AI tools in the grant writing. There is enhanced accuracy in data analysis. So AI algorithms have the ability to process a large amount of data accurately and quickly, and they can identify trends and patterns that you might miss through your analysis, leading to better decision making when you are choosing your funding opportunities. And the third aspect is optimizing your proposal structure. So AI assisted tools contribute to more effective proposal organization by systematically incorporating all of these required elements in a logical sequence. It can take your text and it can separate it into different groups through pattern analysis and create a logical sequence for you. And this systematic approach minimizes the risk of leaving out some crucial information from the proposal. It can create a more interesting way of creating the content for the proposal, and it allows you to be more strategic and to think more strategically in this competitive environment where you're submitting these grants and you know that maybe there are thousands of other organizations or grant writers submitting for the same grants. So there's a bunch of reasons of why it's useful for optimizing your proposal structure. Moving on to grant writing software. grant writing software is useful, but make sure that whatever software you're looking at has got the following capabilities. You want it to have data processing capabilities. So how efficiently does this tool analyze large volumes of text? Does it use natural language processing, or NLP, to better understand the context? What's the user interface and the dashboards like? Are they user-friendly? Is it easy to find your way around? Is it easy to navigate the features? You don't want to spend too much time learning a brand new software or being trained on a brand new software where it's easier to just get up and go. Are there customization options? So can you set parameters that will tailor the responses in ways that you need and would prefer? Can, like, languages or parameters like word lengths or organization-specific guidelines, protocols, and policies that it will then refer to in order to create this content? And finally, the reporting features. So does it provide you the reports in the way that you need them for the grant writing? So summarizing your findings or actionable insights that are available for you to use and just copy paste and put into your proposal as you are developing it. So lots of things to think about, but essentially these are the four that you're looking for in your grant writing software: data processing, easy user interface, customization options so that you can more accurately customize it and align it to what your organization is looking for, and then does it report and spit out the information in a way that is readily usable for you and your team. There are some specific grant writing softwares out there, and if I go back here to our list, so here are some options. There's Freewill, there's Grantable, there's Grant Boost, and there's Instrumental. And I've tried Grantable. I haven't tried any of the other three, but they are obviously out there and doing their jobs properly, so you are very welcome to give those a try. Let me know what you think. Let me know how it works for you. And right, let's move on to the 10 rules of grant writing. So the first rule is start out with the funding agency and check their guidelines for AI. So many of the grant writing agencies have not yet figured out their AI policies and protocols, but for sure it's going to come in time. So you want to make sure that you are using AI tools according to their funding agency protocols. As these institutions continue to draft their own guidelines and their policies, and they change over time, you got to make sure before you submit your grant that it is complying and aligned with all of these guidelines. So do it right at the beginning, and that will tell you, okay, I can use AI, or this has to be done on my own, or with my human team, for example. If you are using AI, we do suggest that you let the funding agency know, like, this has been drafted with AI, but it has been finished by the human team, or whatever your process is and your workflow is, just to be open and transparent and disclose everything. The second thing is consider these data privacy limitations. So you want to make sure that whatever you're adding to your LLM or your AI tool, that you're okay with putting this information into this big repository that has all of this public knowledge, because once you copy paste that into your AI tool, it becomes theirs to use to train their AI, and therefore other people who are writing for grants could make use of that information. So consider how you're going to share this. Are you going to break it up into sections rather than putting in the whole grant? Are you going to do a question and answer process where you get the AI to respond to questions in the grant and then you copy paste that and edit it and revise it, etc. The ways that you're going to find that out is you're going to look for the privacy policy and the data retention settings within the AI platform. And then just be very, very careful with the highly sensitive or proprietary information. If this is private information for your organization, you don't want to put that into a public platform. And if you've got people's names and social identity numbers or passport numbers or whatever, refugee numbers or processing numbers, whatever those are, you also don't want to put those into a public platform, because then it makes that information readily available for anyone who's using that platform. Not a great idea. Going on to rule number 3. Don't use AI to write your grants. I know that this webinar is called AI-Powered Grant Writing, Unlock New Funding Opportunities, but don't use it to write the whole grant. Don't copy and paste it into the grant form and send it off immediately without checking and revising. If you've tried AI tools before, you might have found that the reasoning is a bit off. AI outputs can lack originality, they lack scientific validity, and these nuances are something that you have to provide. So I mentioned earlier about hallucinations and AI making up things. It is notorious for making up facts that when you then question it on, it says, oh yeah, no, I've made that up. It can lack originality because it has so much information and knowledge that it's drawing from that it can sound a little bit bland and boring when you read it. So best practices are write an initial draft and then put that into your AI, work with the AI to improve your draft, and then take that out and revise, edit, and finish it so that it's a complete piece for submitting in the proposal. It's really good to use AI in certain specific areas of your workflow. So when you're revising and refining, it can be very useful and a very strong tool. But for the initial content generation, at least this is my experience and the experience of other grant writers I've spoken to, when you're using it right at the beginning, it provides you with this sort of generalized fluff that's not strong content. So even if you're writing out just a couple of sentences to highlight and to align yourself and to target according to the grant question, and then you put that into the AI and then you revise and edit, that's you'll end up with a stronger result than just using the AI from the beginning to the end of the process. Another rule is using custom responses and prompts to get specific feedback. So you don't want to put in content and then say generic prompts like write a paragraph based on these phrases, or create a result using this information. You want to give it a specific prompt and you want to ask it for specific feedback. So I go into this a lot in the course. but essentially it's going to be things like you are a grant writer and you are submitting a proposal for a charity that works with refugees in Canada. Ensure that your prompt results are informative, fact-based. If you use facts, figures, and diagrams, I want to see a resource, I want to see a web link, a website that you are using to generate these facts. I want this to be in no more than 500 words. That's an example of a strong prompt that you can use to get some specific feedback. So benefits. If you're using custom prompts, they're going to give you targeted and helpful feedback. The strategy will provide context about your role, the grant type, and the funding agency. And some tasks are checking your alignment with your mission, improving the clarity and refining the grammar, or checking the coherence and the clarity of your ideas across the different sections of the grant. So making it feel like it's written by one person. Rule number 5, this is important. You cannot trust the AI. It's a smorgasbord of information that at first read sounds useful. And then you realize, oh no, it's creating false information, it's citing incorrect facts and figures, or it's giving me web links to websites that don't exist. So independently check all these facts, click on the links, double check the statistics and the references that you've asked for. And obviously the consequence of not checking is this can undermine your credibility, and maybe you will have your grant application thrown out because it is full of incorrect facts, figures, and ideas. So here's an example of a prompt that comes in the course, and this is a prompt that I suggest for fact-checking everything. And the prompt says, you'll respond like an academic colleague, citing claims, opinions, and figures from authentic published sources. Avoid inventing sources, and if you're not sure, acknowledge this. So the responses that come back from the AI are going to say they're going to be written in a more academic language, and they're going to have these claims and opinions and sources available. And if it's made up something, it's going to say, I'm not sure about this, but here is something that I found on the internet that you can double check to see if it says what you want it to say. Way better if you are critically assessing whatever the AI is putting out, and if you're auditing it step by step. So you don't want these use cases to come out to be full of errors that you then have to laboriously go through and check through everything, rather than writing a strong prompt at the beginning and following what the prompt says. Let's move on to rule number 6. So I did mention this before, it bears repeating as its own rule. Don't copy paste. Use the AI generated text as an inspiration to then revise and edit. So there is a lot of plagiarism. If you imagine that all of this content is like a sea that is out there, and you're dipping a cup into the sea and taking this information and this knowledge, it's part of everything that's around it. So there's plagiarism, there's bias, there's a lot of fluff, which are the unnecessary words. And the AI doesn't understand. It's not at the point where it's thinking and working as a human thinks and works. So it's taking a prompt in and it's giving you what it thinks and what it suggests you're asking for. Which is why we call it a chat often, because you need to chat with it and refine your ideas. So treat your AI outputs as a draft, as a suggestion, and then do your own editing and refinement. And then you can use certain tools like Word and Google Docs can have tools that you can put in two different documents, and then you can ask it to revise the two documents and show you what has changed. And here you can see what the AI has changed according to what your original content was. And you can decide between the two. Right. Rule number 7, use this process to become a better grant writer. So it's going to be great because you will use the AI as an external team member that you bounce ideas off, that you get to search for information or diagrams or facts, etc. And this is going to make you read your work and think about it critically. So it'll improve your critical thinking, it'll improve your writing skills, and it'll improve your way to incorporate feedback into the finished work. You can analyze the AI suggestions, and you can use it as a question and answer tool. So, for example, does this paragraph strengthen my application? Does it make it clearer? And self-training. So identifying these patterns in your grant writing and then applying it to future grants as well. It's also a good idea to keep certain sections that you feel, oh, that resonates strongly with me, and I can use that in a future grant application rather than redoing it from scratch from the beginning. Rule number 8 tells us that AI is great for inspiration and developing figures, tables, and diagrams. So you can use it to brainstorm ideas for diagrams or flowcharts or different concepts and conceptual figures. Some tools that are useful for creating these images and diagrams are DALL-E and Midjourney. And just be aware that it's still susceptible to hallucinations, plagiarisms, bias. So follow rule number 1 and don't just take it ad hoc and put it into your work. We're almost at the end. We're now at rule number 9. So don't forget to interact with the humans. If you're doing this work on your own, then do you have another trusted colleague in another organization or charity who's a grant writer that you can send in this grant and say, hey, could you have a look at this? I need a second set of eyes to catch any errors or to question anything that doesn't seem so clear. It'll help give you a better feedback, a human feedback, and it's good for mentorship and coaching, especially if you're at the beginning of your grant writing processes. I had like 3 years where all of the grants that I was writing for myself were not doing very well because I was writing for arts, culture, heritage funding. The grants that I was writing for learning and development and for change management were doing way better because I had 2 people that I was working with, a technical writer and the project lead. And so these 2 ladies could look over whatever I was creating and question it, ask for facts and figures or justifications. And this really improved the grant writing process for me, leading to more successful grants and actually receiving grants for my own private arts, culture, heritage work. So it really helps to interact with humans and to get them to give you feedback. See if you can get a peer, a mentor, or a more senior colleague in the charity or the organization you're working in. See if there's someone in an external organization, or reach out to me and ask me and I can help you revise this grant. I will charge a little bit for these grants revision process because it takes quite an amount of time reading through the original applications, reading through your results and your content, and then evaluating and judging it and giving you some tips and tricks and areas to improve. And as I said before, this is going to give you a stronger, more competitive grant, and it's going to improve your grant writing skills. finally, rule number 10, play around with the tools, play around with the content, experiment with different prompts, try 2 different grant writing tools and see which one gives you a better result, question the formats that it's giving at you. And this will help you understand the capabilities and what it's good at, and the limitations and what it's poor at, firsthand working with the content and the knowledge yourself. And then the caveat of this and the benefits are that it's going to help you become more proficient in using AI tools to write more clearly and write better quality. Let's move on to some emerging trends in grant writing with AI. So some different aspects are that the first is that there's going to be increased application volumes. It's going to give the tools and help people create stronger grant applications. So there will be increased application volumes. An example of this is one organization that I'm working with. They had 300 grant applications for their first year of a new grant that was coming out, of micro grants between 15,000 and 25,000 Canadian dollars for certain programs and projects. And this next application cycle, which will open in September, October, they're expecting between 1,000 and 2,000 grant applications. A huge jump from 300 to maybe even 2,000 applications. So it's great, but it's very much embedded into the way we are working right now. And with that comes the issue of way more users. And for example, when ChatGPT started out and it released on social media, hey, we've got this open source, hey, we've got this artificial intelligence tool that is open to anyone to get a login and to use. Within 5 days, it attracted over 1 million users. And this was 15 times faster adoption and implementation than Instagram. And in 2 months, ChatGPT went over 100 million users. This growth is insane. So if you consider that with the people using the tools, you're going to see the same sort of increase in the grant applications. Obviously, the federal governments and the granting agencies and foundations have to shift the way that they're going to fund. And that's why you need to check, as in rule number 1, what are they saying about using AI? Can I use it? Can I not use it? Can I use it at certain aspects? Do I have to disclose and be transparent about my use of an AI tool? Keep up to date and engage in training programs and webinars like this one, which are going to help you climb the ladder and figure out what you need to do and where you need to be. Collaborate with tech experts and consultants or grant writing experts. And then there's always going to be new tools that come out. So review these tools, try them out, see if it's working, see if it gives you a better result compared to the tool that you're currently using, for example. And then to finish off, join the course for more. So the course will explore how AI is transforming grant research and proposal planning across 3 different areas. So we had a brief look at these with discovering funding opportunities, understanding funding requirements, and then organizing your proposals efficiently. We're going to go into these in more depth with hands-on activities, with shows and tells, with lists of resources and examples that you can look at. There's also a section on this which is about prompt engineering, because you need to learn how to write a good prompt in order to get the result that you're looking for. And there is a section on incorporating AI into your process and into your workflow. So helping you figure out the best points to activate the AI and when it's best for you to use your human critical thinking and writing skills. And hopefully this will improve your process and your workflow and improve the overall results of your grant applications. So I am going to drop in the chat the link for this page, and I will ask you to... Where's my chat? Chat. So there is the link, the designcoop.ca/artificial-intelligence, and there is a section on there which encourages you to sign up for the newsletter. Let me go to that. So it brings you to this page. I help startups, non-profits, and early-stage companies build and scale their artificial intelligence operations. You can email me through this button, or you can come here to the newsletter and fill in your details, put in your name, your last name, your email address, and you will get an email when the AI course is ready, so you can take advantage of all of these extra tutorials and prompts, etc. If you don't wish to join the course, that's perfectly okay. I want to make this webinar still useful for you. So you can download a list of AI tools by clicking on that link, and that will take you to a list of tools that are separated by task. So what's a good tool for creating a diagram or a chart or an image? What's a good tool for working on content and rewriting content for me? What's a good tool for citing sources and finding academic facts and figures that you can then incorporate, etc. So, and then there's the sign up for the new course, and that's going to send you to the same web page on the website for the Design Co-op, where you can sign up for that newsletter. So thank you very much for joining today's webinar. I hope you found that useful, and yeah, get in touch if I can help with anything. Otherwise, sign up for the newsletter for the upcoming course.